What's up, Alphas? It's your boy Alphas, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. And of course, I'm joined with the squad. Right beside me, of course, you have Afro Cummy 765. How you doing today, Tori? Tori, we can't hear you. You're muted. I don't know what you did. But below, you got Gerald. How you doing today, Gerald? Oh, Tori getting his mic fixed.
I'm doing good in the middle of eating, so you have to forgive me if you hear crumbs.
It's all good. My God, it's all good. I gotta hear me and Tori talk, so it's all good.
Am I
Tori,
back?
you're back.
All right. It's your local neighborhood scumbag here to give the folks their daily dose of dirtbag. Same gimmick, different day. You guys already know.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got quite a bit of news. Of course, last Saturday we saw the epic return of the one and the only
Epic.
Bray Wyatt, and one of the
Yeah.
most creative returns that we probably have ever seen. Even though we
With-
knew it was him, it
as
was
we-
still creative.
As we avidly wait tonight to see where it's going.
Mhm.
Yeah, we get some answers. It seems he's going to be on
We're gonna get some
SmackDown.
more questions.
Yeah. And one of the things people are asking about is why and who is the Wyatt6? Because that has been continually pressed. And
That
they
has
have,
been there since the onset.
yeah. So some people are saying that Bray Wyatt, those are just epitomes of who he used to be, and that he is not bringing a group, a faction. But WWE seems to be very faction based now, so I'm pretty sure that he probably will have a faction. They have names been come out. Eva Marie said
Oh,
if she
God.
made it,
Man,
she said she teasing that if she made this,
Please no.
if she made the Lily shot that she will be joining Bray Wyatt, and then she cut it off, so we don't have no clue. She probably teasing. Grayson Waller did his tease today, in which he said let him in, and then he started laughing and said he's gonna whoop Apollo Crews on Halloween Havoc, and you ain't gotta worry about it.
I hope
And
they
that
dress
y'all
that nigga
gullible.
up like a buzzard.
Joey Gacy, we know he's been talking to the woman in the red suit or the guy in the red suit. So that's been one thing that's been going on with him. Bo Dallas has been rumored to be back with WWE with his brother, who is Bray Wyatt. So do we see him in the group? And at Monday Night Raw, the righteous Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch was backstage, according to a lot of people. So people are assuming that they might be, which their gimmick, if you watch their gimmick around, they do kind of fit that mold. So what do y'all
Man.
thought? Do y'all think anybody in the Wyatt6, somebody we didn't know, Baron Corbin, maybe some other people have other ideas?
I know you had a thought on Barry Corbin being shaped like the buzzard.
Mhm. I remember.
Yeah, the collared shirt gimmick, kind of like. But Grayson Waller does have the collared shirt gimmick too.
The collared shirt is part of the Waylon Mercy gimmick, which was where the
Yeah.
why he's called Mercy the Buzzard. Waylon
Yeah.
Mercy, he did the old cult gimmick in like the late 80s.
Yeah, but
I kind of hope it's not a faction because if it is, it means they're going to be having to have some. Do you want to see that rabbit in the wrestling ring?
I think they just representation.
Huskus the pig boy, maybe. Huskus the pig boy, maybe.
I don't think they're
Just
gonna
like-
actually be. I think they just gonna represent what those represent. I don't think they're gonna actually dress
Okay,
like. I would
was
hope
about to
they
say,
would.
could you think of people actually trying to wrestle in those outfits? Yo,
So yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
if
that's
Righteous is
exactly-
part of it, I'm pretty sure I got ideas who Righteous would be, and I'm guessing they would not be in the gimmick.
I'm interested to see where they're gonna go with it though, because there's not. I was thinking about this as with Bray coming back. He doesn't have a lot of opponents. Like
Not on SmackDown at least. I was confused by SmackDown.
option wise. I mean, even if you look at Raw, who's he got? Seth, Do we not forget that Seth began the start of the Fiend's downfall with that horrible Hell in a Cell match?
As long as they don't try to make the Fiend an impossible god, I think they will be okay.
Or if they do, they just stick to it. Because
No, that's still hard because like that's a hard gimmick to pull
I
off.
don't know. Once we get to AEW tonight, we'll talk about fucking
everything they got going.
Losing track. Because I've got a bunch of stuff to say that is not kind in any way, shape, or form. But I've got some WWE problems too, though. Like, I'm getting the Judgment Day, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We're talking about Bray Wyatt right now. My bad, I'm off track. But I hope it's not a faction kind of. I mean, if it is, I mean, it's par for the course. But I'd sort of like to see. Because we know Bray does usually stand at his best when leading a group, but I would be kind of interested to see how an actual singles run of Bray Wyatt would go. But those are my thoughts on Wyatt6 as of now.
They do fit his gimmick. Righteous does fit his gimmick.
I don't know them, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
They kind of like Priest and something like that little priest style gimmick where they do stuff like that, and not like they'll fit with that gimmick, I guess. What about Bo Dallas? Can Bo Dallas actually act in a way to get that to go off? Because his brother's
I think
dark.
the only way you get Bo Dallas in the ring is with a mask on, because he was always semi decent in the ring. He just looked goofy as shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that goofy look.
And when somebody's decent in the ring, but horrible looking or not good at talking, you put them in a fucking mask and give them a manager. It works.
Just Bray speak and then let him go out there and just do work.
No, I'd like to see him do it. Well, we've never really seen them together before, have we? Because when they were on the main roster, he was never part of the Wyatt family. He was part of the B team.
Bo leave. I'm like,
they could have went somewhere with the whole Bo leave. I think he got lucky to be NXT champion. That's probably as far as he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Gerald,
your thoughts? All the names we done put out. People have been hitting that Liv Morgan, maybe Alexa Bliss back, with him.
I'd say keep him. I should have said this earlier, but keep him as far away from Alexa Bliss as possible. Because freaking, they're good. They're good together, but it's too soon.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to turn that crowd on again.
Right.
Yeah. Because they were fucking horrible to her last time. Like
she wasn't even bad in that role. It just people was mad because the Fiend was getting misused, and then Vince fired. And then they had that weird storyline.
Then they gave her his gimmick and fucking turned it into a fucking marketing ploy for fucking stupid dolls. But that's not her fault. Yeah, but you know,
yeah, they just randomly took that out on Alexa Bliss. Like she's like, "Yo, Bray came up with that idea, and then we did it, and then Bray was fired, and I'm left with this gimmick, and everybody like, the Fiend is gone."
That's why I say until we have him established, at least maybe a feud or two in, you want to start doing some callbacks to the Alexa Bliss relationship, maybe, but not right off the gate, please.
To be fair, if Bray. If they did do the faction, this is what I would want. I want him to be in control of the faction.
Let's do that. That could be fun. Give me your dream faction for Bray Wyatt.
But what I'm saying with it though, then we'll give it to him. If he does it, I want him to be able to stay on SmackDown because Fox want him on SmackDown, and he cleared Fox.
I think we should end the brand split, man. Just let the rest.
It's kind of hard when
one company follow the rules already.
But when one company wants a certain talent and they pay $1 billion and the other company pay $900 million, like we pay $200 million, we want that one on ours exclusive. It's kind of hard because Disney versus NBC is kind of.
I sort of thought that Bray would go to Raw to sort of be almost like not out the gate, but almost like an equalizer to Roman being so SmackDown centric.
Again, Fox said I paid you $200 million more. You gonna give me $100 million worth of both of them. Because
Yeah.
people forget the Fiend was originally SmackDown because Fox said we want him exclusively on SmackDown.
Yeah, that people forget that is where this all started. Is that Fox was like, we like this, which makes sense because I mean the horror movies and all that jazz, very Fox centric. I feel like just the Hollywood magic part of it.
What I read was that Brock went to Raw on Monday as an offset because the USA Network was wanting somebody that was Fiend-esque because all of the
Oh,
social
because
media
Bray
things.
didn't debut.
Yeah,
And
so
it's Fox
that's
don't
where
want him on
That
there.
would make that's
that's
smart.
why Brock went there. Very, very smart. Both companies was happy.
Went there to beat down a black man so a fucking pretty white boy could take
Yo,
the
Which is
title.
standard.
Yo, I have never seen
Yeah.
it. Brock Lesnar had literally cost every black champion either beat him or
He
cost him
has,
the belt.
bro.
Yep, very last one.
Bro, he lives up to that. He is straight from the Caucasus Mountains and believes that only champions should be from there too.
Yo, Brock Lesnar don't even be on the show. He'll just show up.
Yeah,
Black
he
man
has
champion.
been gone. He's been gone for months since Roman Reigns buried him after he attacked him with a tractor at some like no sight or sound. This nigga been selling meat online and fucking dry rubs and shit. And
That
he
black
shows
man
up,
been champion for 3 months. Can't have
and
it.
he just
Time to come
shows
back.
up to cost Bobby Lashley his title to one of his own greatest enemies. Like
Brock
this
Lesnar
is,
had no purpose.
bruh, Seth Rollins was the Beast Slayer. And you know what? I think it would have saved that match for me a little bit is if that beautiful spear into the pedigree that started it, they should have just let that be the end of it too. They shouldn't have gave the kick out.
I think
They
they just
should've-
wanted. I think they
'Cause
wanted
that
Bobby
shit
not
was
to
so
look.
perfect. It was so perfect. It was so beautiful. If they'd have just let that be the end, it would have been somewhat believable, and it would have got some real heat on Rollins.
Yeah, I think they wanted Bobby to look tough, even though he lost, because
Bro,
Triple
you
H
just
does
got,
seem to like
you
Bobby.
just got put in the Kimura by fucking Brock
That's what I'm
Lesnar and then
saying.
hit with the pedigree by Seth Rollins. How tough you gotta be?
Yeah, that is true, but I think he just tried to add on to it some more. Just like, bro, we just taking the
I
bet
feel
off
like
of you
I feel like
again.
the Stomps took away from it.
We'll talk about that. That is interesting, though. But yeah, like I heard the same thing that it's like, yo, Brock got to be on Raw now, so because Roman is like almost exclusively
I
on
bet we don't see
SmackDown.
Brock for another month, bro, if not longer.
It was to pop the rating and make USA happy. I think that's what it was. And USA, according to Dave today, is very happy with because they've been worried. So they've been very happy with Triple H's return. And Fox has been ecstatic because they had like 2.2, 2.3 every week.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go up to 2.5, so they'd be really excited.
Which is still kind of sad because you got to think there was a time in the early 2000s up to the maybe early 10s where you were averaging like 4 to 5, 6, 7 million. You know, in the 90s,
they were
averaging
getting no more.
almost,
People don't watch TV no more, so that's a
you
problem.
know what I mean? In the 90s, they were almost averaging 10 million on pre-tapes, bruh.
If they hit 3 million, they doing crazy numbers. If they hit 3 million, they doing crazy nowadays because people do not watch TV.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still good. It's just crazy to think how many people aren't watching wrestling anymore when that shit used to be such a big part of my childhood. I mean, you guys know what I mean. You and the boys, freaking, especially elementary school, middle school when it went up. But I remember elementary school. That was the only time me and my friends got to hang out outside of like school. Is like we'd get together on Mondays and watch Raw at somebody's house, or we'd get together on Friday and watch freaking SmackDown at somebody Thursday actually. Y'all remember when SmackDown was on Thursday on the Sci-Fi channel? That shit was wild. But
I remember it on Thursdays on UPN.
right
after Moesha came on, dog. I remember that came on. You see Ray J out there
you know
doing
what
something.
I mean? It's just kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy how many less people, but maybe we're seeing a resurgence. Maybe that consistent 2 million will turn to 3 in a couple of years, and so on.
I think the hope for them is literally like 3.5 million. I think that's the highest.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good sweet spot. And you got back half of the audience at least that you had.
Well, wrestling is consumed different. Like you said, you go now they can go to school the next day and watch it on YouTube.
Exactly.
That's another reason why, the viewers went down
You
because
don't
all
have
the
to. You
streaming
don't have to
services.
be sitting in front of your TV at 8 o'clock on the network.
Exactly.
Freaking.
Like if me and Tori didn't watch Raw, there was absolutely no way we could go back and watch it unless we video recorded.
Yeah, back in the day. Now I just record it and fast forward through the matches I don't
You can
like.
DVR it. You
Yeah.
can DVR. You can watch it on YouTube.
I watch it on Twitter
Yeah,
because
you
I
can
just
watch it
see
on
what
Twitter.
happens play by play.
Yeah, they got people literally put up the whole thing on TikTok.
It records in the background at game night while we're playing freaking Dungeons and Dragons, and then after we're done, I fast forward through it for this.
Like they don't even put out the DVR number, so you know a lot of people DVRing it, and they don't count toward the real number. So again, and then like
I do every week. I DVR wrestling shows I don't even end up watching. Like I got NXT from like the last year at least, and I don't watch that shit. It's just set to record.
And football is way bigger than it was since then.
I'll
Football
let
used to get
my NXT for me. He'll tell me if anything of note happens.
it ain't been nothing too crazy. It's been decent show, but they ain't nothing too crazy. But like I said,
if your idea is right, half the stars that were in there are decent are about to come up in a stable with Bray Wyatt.
I hope not.
Grayson Waller as a buzzard is fire to me, though. Make him Mercy the buzzard, please. Take away everything and just make that nigga wrestle in that buzzard head every night.
The only thing about him though, he the one wrestler that would literally kill himself. He's like Jeff Hardy, except a heel version.
He's good in the. That's one thing I'll give Grayson Waller. He is good in the ring, and he's decent on the mic too.
Grayson Waller is like the dude who'll do a stupid move that you used to see Jeff Hardy do. He like the one of few. Him and Darby Allin are the two people I know that the only people that will just risk a stupid move.
That's why niggas don't watch out. They'll end up in rehab, just like Jeff Hardy.
Darby Allin and Grayson Waller. There ain't nobody else. You see somebody do a cool move, it's usually controlled.
Darby Allin especially though, because Darby Allin got in that kick where he was throwing himself downstairs, and there is no way to work a fall down some concrete stairs.
Grayson Waller, Gerald, Grayson Waller jumped on a ladder with nobody on it, off the top of another ladder.
We have all seen the way Darby Allin. I think the most dangerous thing that Darby Allin does is when he fucking takes the turnbuckles at a crossbody. That is the most dangerous thing he does, and he does it so regularly. You guys know what I'm talking about, where when they shoot him into the corner and he ends up going between the turnbuckles and hitting the post instead of his shoulders, instead of them catching him. I think that is the most dangerous, stupid thing to do on a regular basis.
We got some more WWE news. Before we go, Gerald, you got anything else on that?
Oh no, I'm just with Tori. You know, Bray Wyatt. This Bray Wyatt doesn't need a faction. Let them be entities. You don't need an Eva Marie. You don't need nothing else. Let this Bray Wyatt actually be a faction killer.
I would if they do the faction. I don't want him to be like with him like Luke Harper and them was. And,
because I feel like it would be trying too hard. If they're gonna do the Wyatt family again, they need to just have. They just need to bring back Eric Rowan and use Braun Strowman for that. We don't need them to have a whole.
I don't even know if you need them. If you like, for instance, if you have the Righteous, right? Triple H signs the Righteous. Okay, have them on Raw.
I hope you know I'm gonna go watch a highlight of these dudes after we're done with this.
They ain't necessarily the craziest dude, but they gimmick fit.
Okay, I'm just saying. You know, if you talk about a wrestler, I'm gonna go watch a highlight about him. Sometimes you're right, sometimes.
I'm like when I bragged about what's her name? You knew I was telling you that her and Tiffany.
Yeah, the girl that came over from the Japanese girl that came.
Yeah, NXT UK.
Sadarai or man, I can't remember her name, but she is fire.
The final ball.
The NXT UK Women's Champion. You did tell me about her. I watched her highlights. She was fire.
She was.
But the Righteous sound kind of wild to me.
Like I said, they fit. But what if what they do is I want them on Raw and him just manipulate and not even be on Raw, just manipulate situations where he's not directly with them, but they handle business for him.
That's a dangerous game to play, though. The whole controlling from afar thing, because then we get into repetitiveness of them thinking, oh, since he's not here, and then we end up with inner stable fighting, and if they're not good, then that's just going to look sloppy. But I get what you're saying.
They're a cult. If
they're good.
There's a cult. I think you can work it out. It's a different way, though.
I'd be mad pessimistic about my wrestling nowadays. It's bad, y'all. I have like Jim Cornette syndrome coming on. It's horrible.
Yo, Jim Cornette hates everything.
He doesn't hate everything.
I watched his last show. He dissed everything that happened in WWE and AEW. Everybody
but if you sit back and look at it objectively, he's right more often than not.
Unless it's still with women, he just hates Japanese people and women.
Bro, he might be the reason why I'm like throw away the women's division. But y'all agree with it too, so I know it's not just me or just Jim. Y'all see it too.
He would have thrown WWE women's division away too, so I don't know.
No, because if you listen to what he does today, he always bigs up. He always bigs up Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, freaking all the same ones that we always big up. He always shouts them out too. But
Bianca's so impressive though. You almost can't deny.
Yeah, Bianca's beyond impressive. That's why this whole last Raw that just happened was sort of weird to me. The way they did the Bayley and Candice LeRae thing, it was all very, very odd. I mean, it tracks.
I think he's trying to tell a story that they on a losing streak and she's trying to do a come up and they're gonna figure a way out around to come up. That's why she lost again. And if anybody can lose, Bayley can lose and come back because she one of them people that
I know. Bayley is the female Seth Rollins, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So
I believe that for real. Bayley is the female Seth Rollins. No offense to Becky.
Like I said, we got some stuff to get into. The Good Brothers are back, and they only got one storyline, and they are in it. And after that, I have no clue what they can do.
This played into one of my. I'm glad we finally got here because this is one of my big complaints. Why is Judgment Day beefing with everybody on fucking Raw?
I kind of like it.
I don't. I don't.
Listen. If you
because none of them make sense storyline, bro. We've got Rey Mysterio. We've got the Rey Mysterio storyline. Now we got AJ Styles. We got fucking
I can see War Games.
War Games too.
Who else? AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio. There's someone else that they're beefing with too. Edge. They caved his wife's head in. They gave her the concerto.
But Edge is going to Disney right now, so he can't make War Games. So they need 4 people, and they got 4 people.
You know what would be tight if they add,
but we also have to talk about the real big thing is that Carl Anderson is still under contract with New Japan. He's one of their champions.
Yeah.
Well, he's on a show-by-show basis, which he said he's gonna do.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying the fact that he is a rival, he's a champion in another promotion, and like that's kind of big. That shows that Triple H is a lot more. I feel like this is almost bigger than him when Vince let Mickey James come out with the Impact title. I feel like this is a little bigger than that, and I feel like it's just sort of. People didn't ignore, but maybe it's because I'm a wrestling nerd that it felt.
They acknowledged Mickey James being the women's champion on Impact, so that was.
Now, if they'd have let him come out, if they'd have let him come out with that never openweight championship,
yeah, that would have been different.
If he'd have came out with that never openweight championship, I'd have been like, oh.
Mickey James could come out with her belt, and so that made it hit a little more.
But she was only coming out with for a Royal Rumble. This will probably consist of a couple matches as a feud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they ain't finna let the never openweight championship just be on WWE TV multiple nights, and when they're not in a feud against any chance, like no one in Judgment Day has a belt.
Yeah. But you can see, bro, Judgment Day got heat on him.
But, bro, I feel like if they'd focus it and just pick one of these any one of these storylines, go. But I feel like if they try and do all of them, is going to end up being a mess. And I hope I'm wrong, because if they somehow pull off all three of these storylines and everything
To be fair,
comes
I've
out
seen this in
perfectly
NXT before and it worked.
into a sick-ass War Games match like we're all thinking, I'm here for it. But this could be a clusterfuck, and I want to acknowledge that from the get-go.
Hey, Gabe Sapolsky might be in charge of it, so you never know.
Yeah, bro, and that's why I'm sort of like like I said, it's one of my problems, but I'm not just sitting on it consistently because I know the team that's actually back there. Anyone who's been watching this wrestling show knows that I swear by Gabe Sapolsky's booking, especially in the 2010s. Kurt Angle's a treasure.
Yo, listen, I was like, Triple H, when you got in charge, you got this band, this group. This man has got them the biggest heat on the show, Jared.
I mean,
I thought this group was dead.
Hey, this is Finn Balor's like second or third career revival too in WWE.
Yeah.
Because he went down to NXT for the revitalization the first time, became NXT champion, had that weird feud with Karrion Kross, and then Karrion Kross got injured, and the matches with Kyle O'Reilly and everything else, and then came back up to the main roster, sort of mid for a while. He held the U.S. title for a little bit, lost it, and then Judgment Day finally came around, which was originally just Damian Priest and Edge. But like, it's kind of cool that Finn Balor keeps on fighting, but he's been doing it for so long.
You know what I hate about Damian?
He's the real faction master. People forget Finn Balor created the Bullet Club. Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, Bad Luck Fale, the original 3 Bullet Club members.
And now he's against Carl, which is why this is the only story I would ever.
That's why. Have you seen the meme picture of when he's hugging AJ and he sees them coming out and Finn's eyes just get like this big?
Yeah, shout out to AJ. I said, Tor, what I said in the group chat: if Finn acts his butt off, this feud can be the greatest feud because we know the history between them.
Literally, that's the original Bullet Club minus Bad Luck Fale. I mean, Finn and Carl Anderson were the original. Well, it was originally Prince Devitt and Bad Luck Fale, and then they picked up Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Yeah, then came Tama Tonga, then freaking so on and so forth. I mean, we all know how the illustrious. Here we are, a decade later. The Bullet Club's produced some of the most famous wrestlers in the world right now.
Shout out to Jay White,
and it all started from Finn Balor. So that's why I always give that nigga his flowers, because there's no Finn, no Bullet Club.
Shout out to Jay White for mentioning the Good Brothers and how the Bullet Club is taking over every organization.
Yeah, Jay White. I wish he would come to. He'd be so perfect in WWE, bro.
Let's see. Gerald, your thoughts on the Good Brothers?
Speaking of Jay White and Tama Tonga, I heard that from Rikishi that they was looking to sign Jacob Fatu. WWE was pretty soon, actually.
Yo, Bloodline Unstoppable.
I read that.
If they signed Thomas, what if they took all Takaleo?
Yo, that Samoa army gonna be like, hey, bro, this dude ain't gonna be beat ever.
Ain't nobody beat them. And you know, the messed up part is
Bray Wyatt a faction right now with 20 people.
No, but look, they would still overlook the biggest Uso of all, and the man knows who I'm talking about, the tribal chief of the hood.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be good. What's your thoughts on Gerald? I know you're talking about Jacob.
Just real quick on Damian Priest. Every time I see him in the ring, I think how bad it is that Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee aren't there, because that NXT with those 3 was going at it just about every week was some of the best matches I've seen of a big man. Like, those 3 they just had so much chemistry, and I was like, am I watching cruiserweights? Like, it was Wardrobe versus Brian Cage, every week. Like, they was putting out some great stuff. I want to see more from Damian. I don't want the feuds to get oversaturated, but on Raw, a title should come for Judgment Day soon.
There ain't no titles though. The Bloodline got them all.
Yeah, the Bloodline done took all the titles.
The Bloodline got all the belts. I mean,
Solo get a shot at the Intercontinental title.
I don't know. Is Damian Priest going to take that Intercontinental title off Gunther? Or is he going to take that United States title off of Seth? I think Seth's getting ready for Roman, honestly. I think that's why they put a belt on Seth. I think Seth's getting ready for Roman.
Him and Roman have unfinished.
We need that resolution, one final match between those two that will, if Dave doesn't give 5 stars, he'll have to block me on Twitter.
Yo, that Royal Rumble match was so good, and then he ended it. I didn't even mind the ending because it's exact. Seth fell the exact way Roman fell, and I'm like,
I didn't mind anything about that match.
It was perfect.
Finish the rivalry though.
I was gonna say we need that. There needs to be a blow off match.
Exactly, but
so I like to think in my head canon for me is that's why Seth has a belt right now, because we're gonna get that match, and we gotta think Cody's gonna be back sooner than later too. So that adds a whole nother layer once he comes back.
Yeah, they say in November 1st. Well, at day 1.
Yeah, they saying at day 1.
So Cody's coming back.
Brothers.
Who else was that?
Dominic got heat, Gerald.
He be beating on his dad, bruh.
Beating the brakes off of him.
He be beating his ass.
I mean, it just be ugly.
Didn't he hit him with the 619 this week?
Yeah. Uh-huh. That storyline is amazing too. The fact that Ray refuses to hit
like
his
I said, any one of these one storylines could go. I'm just worried that we're doing all 3 of them. I mean, Judgment Day, AJ Styles could go. Rey Mysterio has all 3 at once. But maybe Gabe's good like that. Gabe and Triple H, let's find out.
I think they're trying to make a faction every group. They seeing Imperium and Sheamus them working real well, so I think they're going with that.
You think they're gonna do 6-man titles?
They can. The many factions they done built up. They done built up a lot of factions.
That's why I asked, because that's a lot of. I mean, when you've got that many, you might as well. And unlike AEW, there is a lack of belts at the moment in WWE.
There is.
Roman got all over his
Roman has monopolized. He was like, I need both the big belts. I need my cousins to get both of the tag titles. I guess NXT can keep the North American Championship.
Yeah, I'm gonna too.
I'm going to close. Because I think that Roman's gonna send Solo after the United States title.
And well, he got a shot for the Intercontinental tonight. He getting forward for the number.
But Gunther's about to beat that ass. He better not. No, Gunther's got to stay. He is bringing prestige back to the Intercontinental title.
Sheamus got to be the one to beat him, but you got to keep him away from Sheamus for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. It's too. They gotta break apart before it gets stale.
Yeah, Sheamus. Yeah. They got to break apart, and Sheamus got to end up beating him because the crowd really wants Sheamus to beat him.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me of how bad we all wanted Pete Dunne to win back in the day, Elia. How bad we all wanted Elia to get that dub over him, and when he finally did.
Yeah, you just want
earlier this year, or was that the end of last year? Either way, Elia. Anytime Elia and Walter in the ring is a 5-star match, in my opinion.
Yeah. Rumor going around, and when this happens, it always seems they show up that night. WWE on Friday Night SmackDown is interested in Mia Yim. Yep. And every time they say on Friday that somebody's interested, they show up that day. It has been a theme.
Then Keith Lee would be so sad. But
it's so crazy.
He hasn't gotten Tony to sign her. She's been wallering away on Impact and Wow and shit. Lots of indie shows. I'm not adverse to Mia Yim making a comeback.
And
Freaking,
they said Chelsea Green earlier
it'll,
this week, so I'm
it'll give
assuming
Tony
one
Khan
gonna take
more
over.
of a reason, give TK more of a reason to throw away his women's division finally.
I think they also said they want Chelsea Green, so I think this is a
Bro,
swerve to
why
somebody
they
coming back.
want Chelsea Green has never been in a WWE match that she wasn't injured in, bro.
That is true. But they can bring Matt Cardona. That'd be interesting if they do it, but I don't know if they'll do it.
That would be fun to see Zack Ryder come back.
Yeah.
Okay, final thing.
Would he have to come back as Zack Ryder, or would they let him come back as Matt Cardona?
That's a little tough.
I'd rather him come back as
one.
Matt because Matt seemed more hardcore than Zach.
He does.
I don't know. Zack Ryder took a wheelchair off a stage bump, bro. You don't get much tougher than that.
He the closest we ever got John Cena to a heel turn was because of Zack Ryder.
Very true. That's the
John
closest
Cena,
we ever got to heel.
That's the
Cena.
biggest heelish turn we ever did. I'm like, did he turn heel for the first time? And they're like, no, he just hate Zack Ryder for real in real life, so he gonna
Yeah, he just really don't like that, did he?
Then he go out there and say, hey, little kids, I'm your best friend. Like, you just almost murdered a man in a wheelchair, John.
And this nigga has the most make-a-wishes in history.
Like, if you would have turned heel, I'd be like, okay, oh, he's a heel now. Like, no.
That's why he can't turn heel, though. He has the most make-a-wishes in history. Yeah. How is he ever going to turn heel?
Yeah, he can't. Nah.
We got to get in the AEW. I got one more question. Who do y'all think going to be in the War Games match? What teams? Because it's going to be one for women, one for men. Women, we don't have to worry about it. We already know it's going to be who's going to be in that one.
The women seems well. I don't know because you need 5. So who are the other 2 that are going to be with damage control?
It can be anybody.
Because isn't it 5 on War Games is 5 on 5, isn't it?
Old War Games is the other one. The one in NXT used to be 4 for 4, but the ring bigger.
Oh, okay.
The ring bigger, so they can do 5 for 5. But I don't know which one they're gonna do.
Well, if they do 4 on 4, you still gotta add one more to damage control.
They can make it's 5 on the other side. They can just make one turn heel, but on a swerve thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just have somebody.
The men's a lot harder. I feel like almost
there's so many teams.
Well, how do you do Judgment Day? Are we letting Rhea Ripley wrestle a dude? Because how's Judgment Day going to be in it?
100%.
Or does she just sit out?
Judgment Day might need one more guy though. And then Beth could be back by some Survivor Series, wouldn't she?
And it's one War Games match for the men and the women.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one for each. It would be very interesting if they did.
Because if they did do it, it'd be Judgment. What do? You do Judgment Day on one side with Rhea in there too. So that's Damian Priest, Finn Balor,
Dominic, and
Rhea and Dominic.
Yeah,
that's 4 on that side, and then on the other side you'd put Beth, Edge.
Will Edge be back? Will Edge be back? Because he is filming.
I don't know, but you put if not, then you put one of the either Gallows and Anderson in with AJ's side. But if Edge is back, it'd be Judgment Day versus Beth, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah, AJ Styles.
Is they feud strong enough for the War Games?
Judgment Day is so hated by the crowd. I think you could just play it off.
Because I mean, like, I don't know if they like Judgment Day. They are really hated. They can have another match though. I don't know if they necessarily.
Because they're all really good singles wrestlers. I don't know how their teamwork.
Well, War Games don't require much tag, so it's just interesting.
Well, no, I know that, but it does require a certain amount of team maneuvers for the match to look cool.
Well, if you do the AJ called Gallows version, you have a lot of used to each other.
That would be sick, and plus you'd get the history of what's on the other side. It's Finn's new
And Finn know how.
New from taking on his old faction.
Yeah,
I say that's why I'm just saying that would be a good 6-man tag. Like I'm not even sure if that'd be a good war game.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was gonna say. But then, so do we just drop the Edge storyline then?
well, he's gone for a little bit, so that's why that's the thing.
yeah.
He's playing Aries and Percy Jackson, and that's why he's away right now. That's why he ain't been on
Yeah,
TV much.
I saw that.
So I don't know how long Disney got
saying,
him.
That probably Royal Rumble. It'd be
Yeah,
Edge and Beth versus Finn and Rhea.
But have they worn out the Edge comeback? Edge has made like 5 comebacks in the last 2 years.
But this one won't be due to injury though, so it ain't gonna be like the same thing. This because like he was like, I'm taking care of my wife, and this is different from I was injured.
It's still a write-off nonetheless.
Wait, it's kind of hard when the companies that pay you $1 billion like, hey, we using him in a film. Like, okay,
yeah.
No, I'm not arguing with that, but I'm saying does it say do you just drop the storyline then and call it a wash?
I don't know if you drop it. I think you might pause it.
And then remind everybody what the
but we have seen feuds get put on pause and go stale while they were paused.
Yeah,
but usually they don't. But usually in WWE, when Vince does it, Vince focuses so much on one thing that they don't have nothing else to do. But this time they got something else to do, which might be the reason he signed a good.
Okay, so that is way they figure. We got him against AJ, Ray, and Edge. Fucking, there ain't no way something happens to all 3 of them before we get to this damn match.
What I'm saying. So you got something that he's going on. You got the Dominic and his daddy. With his daddy finally touch him.
Any of those could go. The Ray or the AJ feud. I'm almost more interested to see Judgment Day versus Bullet Club or the OC.
The story would be so amazing, which I think they're going with.
But I need them to let Bad Luck Fale come in too, just one time for the one time. Just to see no one know who he is, but it would do my heart good to see Bad Luck Fale come out on WWE TV. Just this giant fat black man that used to carry Finn on his shoulders like Luchasaurus did the Jungle Boy.
Yeah. AJ, I doubt AJ be at Crown Jewel. And on the same day, Carl is gonna face what's the name for the title? Listen, we give you one, you give us one for one night. AJ show up at New Japan, get the big pop. You do us a favor, you know what I'm saying? What's your favor? I would 100%. I would prefer trips. If you're gonna put favor for a favor, Will Ospreay, do the favor right now. Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins is some champion, and Seth Rollins is one champion, and Seth Rollins goes off and be like, do the same thing you did this year. I don't know who I'm facing. Who won the shot the belt, and Will Ospreay show up at Royal Rumble for a one-on-one match?
That would be wild,
man.
Yo, match of the year immediately before they get in the ring. Match of the year. I hit the golden button.
Yo, Trips, just like AJ Styles go to New Japan for that pop.
In a dream world, they would introduce Kenny Omega as a third, and it would be a triple threat match. Yo, I was just watching the other day an old video. I was watching an old video from either it was Ring of Honor or Dragon Gate, one of the two. But it was Bryan Danielson putting Kenny Omega and Seth Rollins both in a dual cattle mutilation at the same time. I thought that was so funny. I was like, 3 of the greatest wrestlers in the world, 2 of them are getting handled by one right now. Just because if you know how the cattle mutilation goes, just seeing 2 people locked in it was hilarious to me, and the 2 people being Seth Rollins and Kenny Omega was even funny.
I'm interested to see though who's gonna be in the War Games match, because they got a lot of factions they can put in. They got some time to heat it up. They got some time to let it heat up. So
maybe now that Bobby's been humbled, we can get the Hurt Business back together.
There have been people been saying that in
the Hurt Business
MVP, and they said
I mean, they beat him. He been beat down so many times. Why can't he just call Shelton and call Cedric? Call Shelton and Cedric and get MVP. Tell him to drop Omos and come home. And
Shelton did just
the
diss Bobby
faction
Lashley
war
for
can really
attacking.
begin.
It would begin. Everybody would pop it.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But if Bray comes back with a faction, they got to seriously think about 6-man titles. I feel like if he comes back with a faction.
Let's get to AEW.
At a point, if you've got all these factions front and center in storyline, eventually there has to be some prize for them to attain to show who's the top faction.
That is true, and they need more people, and they need more belts for. WWE ain't got enough belts.
Something I never thought we'd say about WWE is that we need more belts.
We need more belts.
If you look over on the other channel on AEW, I think I saw a graph that said they had something like 11 title belts on last week.
Yeah, part of them, and then they got 7 that they didn't put on, so they got 18 belts that's on there.
Yeah, and like belts from other promotions and shit. It's just wild over there. And Triple H got rid of a belt. I mean, we ain't seen the 24/7 championship since he came in.
Yeah, and then they made the cruiserweight title with the North American title, so they don't have that. Roman got the 2 world titles. They got like 5 belts total. So I'm like,
yeah.
And most of them is on Roman Reigns group, so we gotta figure that. Let's get some AEW news.
Are we gonna talk about AEW so I can get my rocks off?
Yeah, we about to talk about the first thing, then we're gonna let Tori say whatever because I ain't really got much on AEW this week. For the first time, we ain't got much on AEW. But regarding the suspension, well, on backstage stuff for the first time, we ain't got a lot.
we don't have a lot of backstage drama.
But regarding the suspensions over the fight, CM Punk, Young Bucks, Ace Steel, and Kenny Omega, none have heard anything from AEW. They have not been talked to. They have no timetable or anything, so we don't know anything about nothing. And I don't know why Dave reported that he has no information on nothing, but Dave liked to report that he doesn't have information.
They'd just be getting bored and getting on Twitter.
He like Sasha did. I thought Sasha resigned, but they working on it, but they didn't. But I would assume she signed, but she didn't. I'm like, bro, stop reporting until you know something.
I was gonna say, if you don't know, just don't say anything.
Naomi is working a contract today, and Naomi, by the way, they are working on her contract. According to Triple H is working with her, but they having snags in it, so we don't know when.
Yeah, but Naomi ain't got as much leverage as Sasha's got.
Shoot, Sasha putting her on though. I ain't gonna hold.
Man,
I need friends like Sasha though.
It's a shame that Sasha Banks getting knocked down by some plain-faced Asian photographer guy.
You know, I ain't gonna hold you, but I mean,
I'm sorry, people. If you don't know, I'm a bit of a misogynist. I'm the heel of this podcast.
Well, and that one you wasn't really misogynist. You just dissing this other random dude.
I'm a little bit racist too, apparently. Like I said, I'm a heel.
Or Shinsuke Nakamura could.
Yo, shout out to Shinsuke, the king of strong style.
He don't like the ordinary looking. So
he is probably surfing somewhere right now, smoking a joint, just enjoying life.
Needing to finish this Roman Reigns thing, he randomly went out and never talked about it again because Vince forgot. But going back on AEW, they haven't heard anything. Gerald, thoughts on Dave Meltzer reporting that he don't know nothing?
It seemed like every day Dave don't know nothing, and the more I'm reading into Dave's article, I read one today that said, "Hey, I don't have all the information, but here's what I think is happening since Bray Wyatt came back today. Since he come back today, and Brock was there at Raw, I think that's why he was there on Raw." And I already read an article before that said that's exactly why they was happy. So I'm just like, Dave, I really, your 5-star matches, I watched one before. It was a long time ago. I didn't really get into it at all. It's like, how is this a 5-star match? I'm Dave. Just like you try to tell people, I don't have any information because you want to stay relevant. Your name to stay relevant. Like I'll give it to somebody like Sean Ross Sapp, who's actually,
Let's go, Gerald versus Dave.
Like
Wrestler Observer.
Like honestly, like like Wrestle Observer, I like because it's somewhat, the reader somewhat, but it's mostly what Dave likes.
Fightful for life.
like Dave, you come in and say, "Hey, I don't have no information," and then you step out like it's just a cry for help. Like you ain't got no information when it's a lot of stuff happening and everybody else got information around you. Yeah, your days of just being an AEW, mark is over. We like all wrestling. Get WWE news just like AEW news.
He did break that. What's his name was coming? Shout out to him for breaking that news on. No, he didn't. Who he broke? He broke somebody was coming the other day.
I don't
Somebody that
know.
wasn't that important, but they came out. I forgot who it was. I
Oh,
know
the Good Brothers.
Oh yeah, he did break this. So
Yeah.
shout out to him for that. I did say they wasn't important, but this one storyline I do care about. But other than that, they work. It's not literally that.
But I feel like the WWE just needs more bodies on the roster right now. They just need a few more people that the audience
Take some
already
losses?
know. If they get a few more people that they lost, a few more faces that people know, it makes it a lot easier to usher in these newer faces that they want to get over. They have a lot more names that they can take on to get over. You know what I mean? So it's a smart play on Triple H's side, bringing back as much old talent as he can because it gives him a safe mid card that's respectable enough to actually put up these young stars that are supposed to be coming from NXT.
Yo, AEW fans gonna get upset because how y'all talking about WWE? Okay, the question I wanted to ask: does AEW miss the Elite and CM Punk since Dave didn't have no news on? Do they miss them? Does AEW shows feel like they miss? It feels like the shows are good. I have no complaints, but it feels like it's missing something. I don't know. I feel like it's missing star power.
You have no complaints? Did we watch the same fucking Dynamite this week? You have no complaints?
In ring, it was good. The storyline wise, it's random.
Okay.
Even though I did not like Daniel Garcia turning on Daniel Bryan because they said he's gonna turn face soon and try to take both belts, and I'm like, but he knocked out the face. It don't make that storyline would make sense.
Fucking Hangman bladed himself mid hissy fit in the ring.
People love that toy. I'm gonna go with
people. Bruh, people love stupid shit.
Hey, John, that's that Jim Cornette.
This nigga having a quarter life crisis in the middle of the fucking ring while trying to be slick about fucking blading himself to where it looks like he was enraged enough to where he punched himself enough to bleed while standing in front of the Lord of Blood himself, John fucking Moxley, is
That's going on a TikTok.
Cringy.
That is going on TikTok. That's that Jim Cornette, Gerald. That Jim Cornette came out of him right.
Bro,
it's like stupid shit.
Jim Cornette 100%.
Oh, man,
bro, I have so many problems with this fucking promotion right now.
Let's go off.
Bro, look at Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. So dumb.
Well,
what did we like? What did we dislike? We don't even need a top part. Tori, go off. This is what you get in your Monterey section now. Just go get on fire to it.
Okay, what I didn't like about it, well, aside from the whole Moxley Hangman stuff, we had this irrelevant Luchasaurus Jungle Boy freaking feud that is going nowhere because Christian Cage is injured. Luchasaurus isn't a good worker freaking in or out of the ring. Freaking, he's no good on the microphone. He's clunky in the ring. Jack have at all. This nigga is the blandest nigga on the face of the earth. He has great hair though. I mean, good for him. But it is just bad. Don't get me started on the fucking women's division. Throw it away. Why does Nyla Rose have the TBS championship that she didn't win, dancing around with fucking Vicky Guerrero while Anna JAS, this stupid bitch, comes up, oh, give me a match for a belt that you don't fucking own. Now you're fucking playing out the only good thing that you built wrestling-wise with Jade Cargill. And fuck it for Nyla Rose so we can trump up some. I don't even know. Then on top of that, MJF, I mean, he's amazing. But if they for a second think that they're going to turn him face, it's going to be horrible. I don't think that's what's happening, though. I think we're coming in for a swerve. Then, not to mention, the acclaimed and this stupid Mark Sterling the only funny thing that came out of the acclaimed and Smart Mark Sterling was Smart Mark Sterling screaming at the top of his lungs, "Scissor me, daddy niece." Like, bruh. It's just bad. And then, now, okay, so like I said, the acclaimed Smart Mark garbage. The acclaimed should be facing FTR at some point. That could be an amazing match. Billy Gunn is a dream as usual. Him and Swerve had a technically fine wrestling match, but the afterbirth after the runoff was just lame. Like, we copywrote "Scissor Me, Daddy," so you can say it, but we're gonna get paid every time. Like, bro. Then what? We've got Andrade since he got suspended. Freaking now, all of a sudden, the firm have bought in private parties contracts from Andrade, and now they're gonna have a match on Rampage to decide whether they go free or whether freaking the firm gets their contracts. Like, what are we doing? And I like Ethan Page as a wrestler. I think that he could be something good. But him versus Isaiah Cassidy is not a match that's anyone wants to see. You've just got so many problems. And like I said, I haven't even got into the women's division fully because you've got freaking Jamie Hayter, who has a very good possibility of actually getting over it, maybe even more than Britt Baker. And I say that simply because she's got one of the finest asses in wrestling. Have y'all seen the cakes on her? Bruh, ass is wild. But it's just such a problem. Like, they had that 4-way match or tag with whatever the match was, where Hikaru Shida came out with 2 outlaw belts, one around her freaking chest and one around her waist. I don't even know what promotions the belts were from. Like, at this point, the only match I'd probably like to see out of the women's division be Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm. Like, it's just a big old mess, and it's because Tony thinks because he's been a wrestling mark for all these years, he's been such a fan, and he's been to all these shows, and he was meeting the wrestlers behind the scenes. Bro, you might have the money to bankroll a company, but you don't have the freaking ability to book it. And here we are in year 3, and you're still showing that. Like, and now you don't even have that many options of people to fall back on that you could hire to book. Aside from people who are already in your organization, and you either aren't using them or they aren't good anymore. And we don't know. So, I mean, it is what it is. AEW is blah, to say the least. But
Jared, how do you feel?
It has potential somewhere that's being lost.
With everything Tora just said, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. I saw Billy Gunn get one of the loudest ovations, and then they did not do anything with that. It's so many belts. You know, Orange Cassidy got his title finally, but it's overdue.
The All Atlantic belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there were people in year 1 saying that frickin' Orange Cassidy was going to be AEW World Heavyweight Champion by 2021.
Mm-hmm. And here it is, late 2022.
Now we are at the end of 2022, and he is like a lower mid card champion in a promotion that's completely laden with belts.
And he was one of their originals. Like, you're wasting. Like, you're wasting everybody's time. Everybody's getting their belts last minute.
There were kids dressing up as that nigga for Halloween.
Exactly. Like, Orange Cassidy, one of the
Tony Khan dressed up as him.
like you have one of the best gimmicks. I turned my head. I said, "Who is Orange Cassidy?" Because I like that gimmick. It reminded me of Damian Sandow's gimmick when he was acting like everybody. It was just something that I'm like, okay, I will turn my channel to see what he's doing. He done nothing. He private, whatever team he had for years, and now you get him a title. It's like, yeah,
And not even a good title.
exactly. Like the Mid Atlantic should have been. I'm
The
not
All Atlantic.
All Atlantic. Yeah, like the title is cool, but
It's a good looking belt. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I actually like the way the belt looks. It's a good looking belt. It just don't mean shit.
that's the thing. Like, what do these titles mean? What does the FTW title mean? Like, what does the TBS, the TNT, the JH? I don't know any of these titles. I can't keep
The
up with all.
trios titles.
Like, what is that? What does
Where
that
even
mean?
are
Like, what's the secondary title after the AEW heavyweight title?
It's supposed to be the
is it
TBS,
we used to think it was the TNT title.
yeah, TNT, but Warlow don't get on the show, so I guess it's ROH because Chris Jericho got it.
I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say, or is and then you got Samoa Joe, who's the ROH TV champion, even though ROH TV doesn't exist.
make it make sense. And Samoa Joe's the art, like he's secondary to Chris Jericho.
Daniel Garcia is the pure champion.
What belt has Bryan Danielson had?
He hasn't. And that's the problem. He should have been the world champion. I mean, people go back and watch the wrestling shows. I've been saying this for so long. I'm almost out of words for AEW because
does Mox becoming a full-time champion before Bryan
Danielson gets one?
He's gonna be a
full-time champion. Bryan Danielson, the best pound for pound wrestler.
Man, don't get me. See, I forgot about the Bryan Danielson freaking Chris Jericho match. Bryan Danielson carried Chris Jericho to a match
and lost
with a stupid afterbirth ending.
I
don't get what the storyline going, but okay. People saying he's gonna turn and then he can't turn anymore.
It's just matches that Tony wants to see. There is no story. It's just matches he thinks would be cool.
I see he can't turn face now because he just knocked the biggest face in the face with a belt to cost him the belt. Like you can't be like, oh, I was just using this to trick him. I'm like, no.
Garcia wanted to be a baby face. He's better as a heel, in my opinion.
So if he does that,
a lazy way to do it. It's just Chris Jericho sucking heat away from another young guy.
I got a question. Where's Ricky Starks and Hobbs?
Exact. Let's. This is gonna be exactly.
I mean,
I'm leaving it exactly.
Them are some of the storylines that I was invested in. And my little time I get to watch anything, I'm like, okay, I like this developing. I ain't heard nothing since that spine buster, really.
You could put Ricky Starks or Powerhouse Hobbs, either one, in WWE right now, and they would go to the fucking moon. Either one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bro, think about Powerhouse Hobbs versus fucking Gunther. Bro. Think about Ricky Starks versus Seth Rollins. Bro.
LA Knight.
Yeah, they got LA Knight's back.
So Karrion Kross just had an accident with a car just hit him, and then Drew McIntyre, while he's limping out of the car, Drew McIntyre just threw his head into a truck. So this is intense.
Oh, Drew heel? Man, if Drew goes,
but he's beating the out of Karrion Kross right now.
I don't know. I think they need to shave Karrion Kross's head, though. I think he was more intimidating bald.
I can see it. I can see a little face.
Well, Drew McIntyre just put Karrion Kross' head into a car door, and he was trying to slam it, but they got him away from the door. So basically,
maybe just lead into a head shave.
A head shave, and I want Drew heel. I've been one Drew heel though.
But if Drew goes heel, there's no shot at him getting. Well, I think they're done with him and Roman, anyways. Yeah. They got to get one of these belts off for Roman somehow, and I just don't see how it's going to be done. But he can't carry them forever, I don't think.
Sami Zayn the most overdue in wrestling, bro.
Sammy's so nice. He's so nice with it.
And I'm so happy for him, though, because he deserves it.
Honestly,
We
He's
said
just
for years that he deserved it. Roman Reigns finally said it, and they finally put them together. And now look at Sammy, probably one of the biggest stars in wrestling.
you know what? I'd go for Sammy taking one of the belts off of Roman.
That would be that could be part of the
Woo.
storyline. One of the storylines.
I'd go for that. I think it'd piss a lot of people off. I think it'd make a lot of people really happy. I think it'd be a good match either way.
You get more happy than pissed off just because it's Sammy.
Listen, it's for
And
3
just
years
one,
we had
because
nobody.
I think we all agree that we need one. There needs to be another belt on Raw.
3 months. 3 months ago, we didn't think there was no competition for Roman besides gotta be Cody. Now I see a bunch of people that be like, okay, he can take off Roman, he can take it off Roman. Vince had us believing nobody could ever take that belt.
Bray could take the belt off of Roman because if you want to be honest, the real downfall of the Fiend, I feel like, really started was when Roman came back in Saudi Arabia and interfered in his match with Goldberg. That's when the story really started to go downhill. So if you wanted to,
you can do Jey Uso with the storyline they got. If you switch it up,
but
if you want to shock people,
and that's a testament to Triple H. Like you said a couple months ago, we could not think of a single person that we thought could take one of these belts off of him. And now, I mean, we just listed 3 or 4 that we'd be okay with: Sami Zayn, Bray Wyatt, Jey Uso. I mean,
Bobby Lashley.
I don't know. They've done a little bit too much to Bobby for me to be okay with it. Bobby's been good, bro.
If Sheamus takes the belt off Gunther going to Rome, Imperium versus Bloodline,
if Sheamus takes the IC championship off of Gunther, Imperium versus Bloodline could be fire. Nice. Imperium and the Usos would destroy it in the ring in a tag match, and then Gunther and fucking Gunther versus Roman would just be a straight fucking slugfest.
Sheamus is so over too. You could put him in there, even I don't know how much we want. I want him to win the IC title, so I don't want it. But he's so over.
You guys think how many more people are as it's going on? How many more people are waiting at AEW to try and come home to Papa H?
I know Keith Lee has to now that they're interested in me.
Keith Lee needs to lose some weight when he comes home though.
Ever since they lost the tag belt, swerving on TV every week.
People be on my ass for saying that shit on Twitter, but I swear, if you look at the way Keith Lee was in NXT and you look at Keith Lee in AEW, there is no contest to which one is better.
Now we got since Swerve been on TV every week, because Swerve is obviously we know
he's another one. He would. I know he says he doesn't want to go back, but I think he would be in a Triple H ring. I mean,
he's good though because they pushing Swerve a lot on AEW.
They did. They pushed Swerve on NXT.
They still push.
He was a double champion too, welterweight and North American at the same time, some shit like that.
But I think they were trying to position him to be a main event on that show though, because he seemed they get a lot of heat from him.
He could be.
He could.
Because Swerve's got all the charisma. He's good in the ring.
But with Swerve, the problem I'm having is with Swerve doing his thing every week on AEW. Keith Lee has just been gone.
Just gone.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Keith Lee has never really had a personality to begin with. He's been this monotone big guy that does amazing things in the ring. But now he's gotten bigger, and he had his.
But Triple H kind of made it where he's like this glorious mission. That's my only problem. AEW, like everybody had a mission. Even the Undisputed Era was the Golden Prophecy, which made it so much better because
which was fulfilled.
Yes. Prayers up to Adam Cole. I heard he had a bad concussion, and Dave said he could come back soon or he could never come back. I'm like, why are you reporting this?
Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting you to say he coming back soon. I'm like, Adam Cole coming back soon. Like, no, or he can never come back. So basically, anybody could have guessed this. Well, Adam Cole can do whatever he wants.
Saray's first match in AEW.
They said she went to 3 doctors. That's the thing we did last week. We asked how many doctors. They said 3.
I hope she can wrestle better than she can talk. That's all I'm going to say. Her promo.
I'm hearing a lot of NXT people coming up recently. I think Roxanne Perez going to wrestle tonight, which she's 20 years old and she's probably better than most of the women on the. Roxy.
She's really good. She's just so small though.
They can AJ Lee it.
Alexa
But
Bliss.
look at Alexa. I stopped discounting small girls in wrestling when Alexa Bliss went on her little tear in like 2013, 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. I was like, okay, these little girls can make it work too.
All you do have the right move set, manipulate situations to your advantage, use size for your
Yeah.
shit. It can work out.
Don't wait forever on your dives.
Yeah.
Or at least do camera work where it don't show it.
Don't be like Hangman Page and freaking just do the acai moonsault every match you can and take forever to set up and count to 30 before you fucking do it.
But one thing, we're going to leave AEW now. And the one thing I want y'all to do is actually, when somebody's hot, keep them hot. Please don't take them off TV. That's my one wish, Tony Khan. You are doing good. Acclaimed, you keeping them on TV. For the first time ever, a young talent got hot and you kept them on TV. Orange Cassidy was hot. You took him off TV for 3 months and sent him to some other promotion. Orange Cassidy was hot and they put him in another promotion for 3 months. Willa Yuta got hot. You did that whole storyline. I have barely seen Willa Yuta on TV till recently. And when she was fighting MJF.
And it was to feed him to MJF.
And now he's not going to be used. Daniel Garcia is hot. Y'all took him off TV for 3 months. Now y'all doing this weird storyline again for too long. Because y'all do these storylines too long. After you got him hot, you succeeded in getting them hot.
If they just rid of the women's division, there would be plenty of time to do this.
All right, Jim Cornette.
I'm just saying, bro, y'all, these niggas will admit it or not, but they know I'm right.
Hey, I got hope for them, man. I like people having work, so.
But they can all find work at WWE and Impact. I hear the indies are paying quite well in this day and age.
Yo, Impact has been, people sleep on Impact outside of what's his name? Bobby Fish. Impact been really
Bobby Fish. Poor Bobby Fish. He was setting up talks trying to get the Undisputed Era back in WWE. Everybody said no, and then they were like, well, we don't want you if you ain't bringing at least Kyle with you. If you ain't bringing Kyle or Adam, nigga, you can't come home. You should have thought like Roderick and just stayed. We'll make you a trainer at the PC till we feel like we can use you.
But matches of the week. Who do y'all have in match of the week?
Match of the week, I would, I'd almost say I'd have to give it Pockets and Orange Cassidy and Pac.
That includes Extreme Rules now. You said we ain't did
well, see, you didn't say. Match of the week, I'm going from Raw through. Here, somebody else go. I gotta think then if we're gonna include Extreme Rules because there were some decent.
Imperium versus if we include Extreme Rules, Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes.
That was such a banger.
I gotta go with a match on that too because I loved it. I loved Edge versus Finn. I quit. I'm a sucker for storytelling. I'm a sucker for storytelling, and that was a full story match. And they did almost exactly what I said they should do. So I'm a sucker for being right also. Like if you go watch that show that week, I'm gonna call it. Except I said Ray gonna hit Dom for the first time. Dom hit Ray instead, but that's the only time I missed him. It was such an easy match to book.
I think I'm gonna stick with my choice. I like freaking.
You ran it on AEW for 20 minutes in your match of the week, right?
Yep.
It was a good one though. I can't lie.
I did enjoy it though. Just the blatancy. There's something about it because, like, of course they're both good in ring, but there's something about how many times Pac tried to get that damn hammer in that match. He just tried so many times. It was like, and every time the ref just like, no. Yeah. I'm gonna give it. I actually did like. I I liked Candace versus Bailey too, though. I really did. Even though I don't know what they're doing with Bailey losing again, but I did like that. I liked the match still. But I'm a sucker for Candace and Bailey. They're both super sexy. What can I say?
Sexy. They are sexy.
You got any women match, Gerald?
Any women? Candace and Bailey out of sexiness.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But I did just read that Becky Lynch is nearing her return too. So AEW has no chance of competition right now.
And I heard Charlotte returning soon too. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte coming back.
Again.
And if Mia Yim's coming back in too, if they're bringing up Roxy,
and you still have Sasha and Naomi out there, and if they decide to bring them back, they don't necessarily need them. It would just be a compliment to the current division. That's how good.
And Sasha, probably the biggest star in women's wrestling completely anyway. So. Liv Morgan gonna be on Chucky too.
Which is crazy. And actually,
sure.
I'll say that Liv Morgan, I've seen somebody say that the experiment failed, but with Liv Morgan losing and her being on Chucky and all of these Hollywood projects she got going, I think the experiment was a success. I mean, she's got projects outside of WWE.
She's definitely sexy enough for Hollywood. There's no doubt about it.
She's gonna be on Chucky.
And if it all goes bad, she could end up with a sex tape or something. So I'm here for it.
I'll watch it.
Jim Cornette Jr. is here, dog. She's all right. She can do movies, or she could just have OnlyFans or sex tape.
She make more money. Liv Morgan. I mean this, and anybody can argue me. Liv Morgan make more money on OnlyFans than she is wrestling, guaranteed.
Tony Storm did that weekend.
And Tony Storm didn't even show. She wasn't even getting fucked or nothing. I don't even think she showed no nipples. When niggas just trying to look at that fatty, paying $4.99 for an ass and a thong, when there's bitches of equal value for the same price, busting it wide open.
Yo, JD, we gonna beat JD. They gonna hate us like JD. But I'm gonna give mine. Taya Valkyrie versus Killian King in NWA Power was a really good match. By the way, for me saying I'm a casual, I watch a lot of different random wrestling. I'm like, why am I watching NWA Power? I do not know. I am bored. It's on the side of my TV while I'm doing my work. So I'm like, oh, a different wrestling thing is on. Let me just watch this. And that match actually caught my eye. It was really good. That's the only thing on that show that just about caught my eye. I only watch
select independent wrestling. If there's a match I want to see on the card, I'm gonna watch. But I'm gonna watch that match.
But yeah, Killian King and Taya Valkyrie. If y'all are interested in women's match, that is a.
Kylan King's gotten a lot better from her stint on being a jobber on AEW Dark.
I think it's on YouTube, on their Fight Network on the YouTube, or it came out today, so y'all can actually watch it now. It's a good match. She's
the redhead, right?
Yeah.
The one that used to the tall. She tall.
Yeah. So shout out to them.
I knocked down Kylan King though.
All right, Jim Cornette Jr. All right, we all. Jerry, any last word when you want to get off, but you didn't get to say it, Joe?
Nah, I got all mine off.
I know we talk a lot. Like I want to get Gerald in as much as possible.
No, it's good. I'm watching Sammy do a Blue Thunder. I'm good.
Yeah, they Sammy and Kofi Martin side too was really having a good one. Go watch them Friday night. You're them boys talking wrestling. If you ain't got enough of your wrestling fix, they are right after us. We out.
Yeah.
Jared, where can they find you?
They can find me with a bag of hot Cheetos, minding my business. Don't look me up.
Don't look him up. Tori, where can they find you being a scumbag on Reddit?
Afro Comedy 765 on all platforms. Of course, you can find me being a scumbag all over the internet. Of course, you can catch me here on Overall 99 Media being an Overall 99 scumbag.
I want that Blue Thunder Bomb to actually beat somebody.
Yeah, somebody got to get hit with it. He used to get